as the Association of Meter Manufacturers of Nigeria are currently protesting the World Bank funded bid process for the supply and installation of 1.2 million smart electricity meters to the 11 distribution companies discussed under phase 2 of the National Mass Metering Program. In a letter dated July 4, sent to the Director General of the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP, the association demanded that the World Bank funded bid process be suspended immediately. The letter signed by the Manufacturers Association Acting President Ademola Agoro and Secretary Duro Omogbenigun urged the BPP DG to direct the Transmission Company of Nigeria, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and Central Bank of Nigeria to honor the pending 4 million meter supply contract awarded to its members since November 2022 under phase 1 of the NMMP. That is the metering project for the country. Okay, so before the break, I told you also that this group of local meter manufacturing companies under the Meter Manufacturers and Assemblers Association of Nigeria have kicked against being effectively shut off from meters production and importation by the new rules enunciated by the Transmission Company of Nigeria. I would very quickly talk about that on Industry Hub as much as time would permit us this morning. Joining us to do so is a distinguished stakeholder in the energy sector. Adetayo Adegbemle is the Executive Director, Powerup Nigeria. Good morning to you, Adetayo, and thanks for joining the Law FM Morning Show today.
Good morning, Kingsley. Good morning, Lagos.
Yes.
And Nigeria.
Good morning. You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Let's get down to the conversation. So, first is that just recently I saw that you advocated something, or you started an advocacy questioning whether there is a deliberate attempt by the federal government to deny local manufacturers the opportunity to win bid for the supply of 1.2 million meters via World Bank loan, as advertised by TCN. What was this about, and what's the controversy there?
All right. The issue, I believe, is funny enough. Let me put it this way: the issue is something that is treats Nigerians, and let me say at this junction that I believe it's also a high time for us to start. We started thinking differently about our approach to solving our economic problems in Nigeria. We are taking a World Bank loan, right? And the World Bank is telling us what we are spending the money on. Well, that is fair. I mean, you can determine what I spend the loan I'm taking from you on. But you should not now tell me how. I want to buy a pot, for instance. But you want to tell me which particular, complex I should go to buy the pot. There's something is wrong. They want to give us loan. They want to tell us what to spend the loan on, and they want to tell us how we spend the loan. We spend the loan that we are going to pay back. So, it's strange. And one of the things I first looked at, they want to give us loan to do this thing. Fair enough. They want us to spend on nutrient. Fair enough. But now want to tell us who again we are going to get this thing from. It is some challenge we have many of the loans that we've been taking. The loans that have been taken have not been channeled to increasing or to affecting or deepening our local capacity in any way. We take loans from a Chinese company to build the road. The Chinese companies come with their equipment, they come with their staff, they come with everything to fix it. We are not helping Nigeria. A loan that we're going to pay back. We're not helping Nigeria. The same thing is playing out in this issue of the metering. We have local meter manufacturing capacity. We have people that can be helped. We have people that we can take that money, fund their industry, their factories, fund. I mean, we're not just funding the factory. We are funding standardization. We are funding employment. We are funding reduction in the strain on the demand for foreign exchange. These are the things that Nigerians are not looking at. A lot of people have been coming up and saying a lot of things, but we are funding sustainability. Because look at the meters we're talking about. In 10, 15 years, they are becoming obsolete. New technologies and everything. What are we doing? Will we go back to go and take another loan to replace it? Or are we going to take the loan, fund local meter manufacturing ecosystem, make sure that they can give the Nigerians what we need, right? And in 10 15 years, they too will have evolved to give us new technologies that will maintain our metering ecosystem. What are we doing? So that I looked at the tender bid, the procurement bid sometimes in March, and I looked at it and the thing just struck me. We are getting this thing wrong. Now, my position became justified when the data manufacturers themselves they came up with the position about a week ago and did the press release. I'm like, this is what we're talking about. Now, we take a loan to produce the meters. Let's say, for instance, we take a company X, that has capacity now. Maybe they have 20 staff, but because we have a demand of 100,000 meters in 3 months, they won't have any choice but to increase their own capacity. That means they have to employ more people. If they are running late, they have to go on shifts. So from doing one shift, they might be forced to go in 3 shifts just to meet up with the demands. Now, what we are saying is that we are looking at a sustainable means of creating employment through the loans that we are taking. But by the time you look at the conditions that are put into the procurement bid, over close to $500,000 again, not even naira, dollars for security of applying. How many local manufacturers even have that kind of capacity in terms of dollars? Yes.
I want you to. What do you think would have been the reason? Not even speaking for TCN at the moment, but what do you think would have been the reason to prefer foreign manufacturers to local manufacturers?
Well, I am not in the mindset of those that set the bids and demand that people from outside can actually compete and compete better, right? But I can be in the minds of Nigerians that are looking at the thing and saying how obviously it is wrong for us. The good thing about this thing is that we've had experiences before. A similar scheme was done in 2012. Right? And, the meters that were bought were sold to, they were deployed on the Kaduna Electric network. Well, guess what happened? Anybody that knows, that is familiar with the terrain or with industry, will be familiar with the word happy hour. They brought in meters with their own specification. They brought in meters with wrong specifications. They brought in meters with specifications that are not able to work with our system. Guess what happens? At some strange hours of the day, the meter does not reach. So people will just be using light for free. And guess what? The contract was, okay, you want the bid, supply the meters. It does not include support. It does not include,
that's after sales service. Is that what you're talking about?
After sales, yes. Does not include after sales service. So what do we have? The people that came from wherever they came from, supplied the meters and left. But guess what? We are faced with the problem. Now, guess what? None of those happy hour meters on Kaduna Electric network are still in the system. Now, part of the fallout is this. Years later, Kaduna Electric is severely hemorrhaging. It's one of the worst performing discos we have in Nigeria today. It is part of such decision making that, but imagine that we spend that money then to empower, to strengthen a local meter manufacturer, right? To deepen their capacity. Even if you had any problem, won't we be able to go back to their factory anywhere they are in Nigeria and say, yeah, come and replace these things. These are challenges that we're having. If we need after sales support, won't we be able to refer back to them? Now, what we are not looking at is, we will take this money. It's not necessary to dash these people. But if I tell a company ABC and say, ABC Metering Company, this is $1 million on the table for you. I need 100,000 meters from you with so quality, functionality, and the minimum quality that we expected at this price range. Now, this guy sees his money on the table. So he's able to go back do this redesign, and come up with a specific functionality that suits what you are asking for. Now, outside of this conversation, that we've been having is the push that we'll be making for us to have, why can't we have a standardized meter design for Nigerian market? It's done in places like China. I mean, it's not this meter that China sends to the national market that they use locally. If you go to the UK, it's not the same kind of meter that they send. It is hardware. We can build the hardware. Different discos can use their own billing back end to integrate and do the meter. But the same way you use all sort of brands of telephone. But telecommunication companies don't care. As long as the interface, the people are seeing, there's a handshake, and the billing is done from their back end. So why can't we isolate metering design, for instance, so that if you isolate it, then we can have one company that is focused on building just the metering box on its own. That's just their job. So if Kingsley wakes up one morning and decides that I want to enter into the sector and I want to design meter boxes because I find a way to design it cheaper and still the same quality or better, then Kingsley goes into production and sells across.
So
you understand?
Well, unfortunately, Tayo, because we're pressed for time, we cannot extend this further. But it's been quite insightful, and what you've said about this so far. In coming days, we'll probably dwell on this a lot more. And there's a lot to uncover. There's a lot to uncover with this World Bank loan of 155 million naira. $155 million. And this should definitely pay Nigeria in many ways and help fill that 8 million metering gap in Nigeria. Right. But how best can we get this done? That's a big question. But you've given a few solutions which makes lots of sense. But unfortunately, we've got to close now. Thank you so much, Adetayo Adegbemle.
It's always a pleasure being with you guys. Yeah,
appreciate it. Adetayo Adegbemle is the Executive Director, Powerup Nigeria, and he's been a guest on the Industry Hub this morning. Thank you again, Tayo.
You're welcome.
Right, have a great day. Yeah, there you go. That's with Industry Hub. We need to go straight to Social Buzz as we begin to wrap things up on the Glow FM Morning Show this morning. Social Buzz is where we check out trends on social media and get your thoughts on them. Do stay tuned.
Super Social on the Social Buzz.